Now, Lauri Myllyvirta is the lead analyst at the Centre for Research on Energy and Clean Air.
Getting China's emissions to peak and decline is, of course, the first and the most important step to bringing global emissions down. So realizing that is a huge contribution. Obviously, China's emissions have already stabilized for the past couple of years, so this is hopefully more about securing that stable plateau and eventual decline rather than stopping growth, because that's already been achieved.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, growth is a really big issue here because China wants to keep growing. It wants factories to continue working at peak performance. It wants to continue with its electric vehicles. And, of course, data centres and the demands of AI. Is that going to become increasingly difficult, though, to get that balance right?
Rapid energy demand growth has been a challenge for China for the past 2 decades, but China's shown that it's more than capable of deploying enough clean energy, whether it's solar, wind, nuclear, to meet that demand growth, as long as the enabling conditions are there. That's a challenge that China is equipped to face. From the perspective of economic growth, clean energy sectors, such as the manufacturing of solar and electric vehicles and batteries, are a key economic driver. So I would argue that that rather than conflicting goals, making sure that clean energy growth continues and emissions come down as a result is a prerequisite for meeting the economic goals.
When it comes to vehicles and transport, by 2030, China wants 30% of all vehicles on the road to be electric. The current figure is around 12%, so that's quite a leap in just 4 or so years. What impact could that have on China's transport emissions?
Very quick calculation says that a 20 percentage point increase in the share of electric vehicles could cut transport sector oil consumption by the same 20%. And transportation uses about half of all the oil in China. So it could deliver a very significant reduction in overall oil consumption, which then definitely helps with climate goals, also helps massively with energy security.
As you mentioned, carbon emissions have been levelling out in China for a little while now. But really hitting these goals and making the transformations, what impact is that going to have not only on the global emissions picture, but also in terms of the example that China is giving the rest of the world?
China's, of course, the largest industrial power and concentration of heavy industry in the world, and economically seen as a success story. So being able to peak and decline emissions will show that a major emerging industrial power can be powered by clean energy. I think also it will also enable China to take a stronger, more proactive role in international climate policy, because China won't have to defend increases in its own emissions anymore. They will be able to say that they have gotten on top of this problem.